folks, welcome to IAS Academy. In this video we will be discussing a current affair topic based on your present scenario, which will be linked to your mains as well as prelims. Okay, so what is the topic we will be discussing? How the Vice President of India is elected, and we will also see a history of the Vice Presidents. We will be looking at this topic in current affair perspective. We will also be adding static content. We will also be discussing a possible mains question from this topic. This video is presented to you by a faculty, Sushma KP. Now let's get into the video. As of now, what is happening with respect to the concept of Vice President? One of the first thing is your former Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar was elected in 2022. Okay, he resigned. Yes. Now, present at all current affairs. Why is it in current affairs? Because vice presidential elections are happening. Understanding? And Prime Minister becomes the first person to cast his vote. So, as of now, this situation is happening. So, we will see what is the history as well as present as well as the static content on this. Now, if you are someone who enjoys national affairs, international affairs, global news, then this video is right for you. And if you have to see more videos like this, then subscribe to IAS Academy channel. Alright. Now, if you see with respect to vice presidential position, it has started from a very neutral position to so much an assertive position also. We have seen all the flares of vice presidency in our history. We will be discussing that also. As of now, the debate in the let's say in the video we will be exploring together is with respect to the neutrality of presiding officers. What is the role of Rajya Sabha and also role of Rajya Sabha chairman? How is it affecting your vice president position, affecting center state federalism? Okay. First, we'll start with Dhankars, that is the vice president who resigned, and to which position now elections are taking place. If you see how was our former Vice President Dhankar's role in Rajya Sabha, see, it was more of an assertive role also. Okay, assertive role meaning how? First thing is, let's say when the judiciary verdict came out about striking down your NJAC Act, that point of time the Vice President Dhankar had called the Supreme Court's NJAC cancellation or calling it null and void as a judicial overreach, and he defended the parliamentary supremacy, right? So this immediately drew criticism from the people. And another instances, we'll be seeing small instances of when we tell assertive role, how exactly is it assertive. Another thing is with respect to the PM presence issue. So what happened was your parliament during your Manipur issue when it was happening, they were asking in Rajya Sabha, they were asking the chairman, that is the vice president, for where the prime minister is. He has to come to the house. In here, the vice president stated that he could not and would not direct the prime minister to attend the debate in the house. Why? Because see, it is the prime minister's prerogative. It is up to his wish. It is upon the prime minister as to when he will be present in the house and for what issue he will be present in the house and for what he will not. This indicates that when he told that he could not and would not, meaning that I cannot force the prime minister to come to the house. Understanding? Next is this was most of a dramatic move that happened, where a record number of 146 MPs were suspended for protests on security breach. Understanding? This was the first time such thing happening in a parliamentary history. And second thing is with respect to political commentary with regarding to your judiciary, governance and federalism, all of this. And many opposition leaders felt that when the vice president is coming from the ruling party, then where will there be the concept of neutrality? They started questioning on that grounds. Understanding? So, what is the present debate if we are going to take up? First and foremost, is Rajya Sabha fulfilling its purpose? To answer this question, we have to bring out and discuss what is the role of Rajya Sabha. First and foremost, the role of Rajya Sabha is to be a revisionary body. Understanding? Rajya Sabha is a revisionary body and it is the House of States. And once it is the House of States, which means it is collectively representing the interests of the states. Whenever we use the word interests of the states, automatically we are bringing in federalism. Now, when we are telling federalism is represented in Rajya Sabha or interest of houses is represented in Rajya Sabha, then the chair of Rajya Sabha will also automatically mean that has direct involvement in the federal relations or center-state relations. Yes, and now when the chair of Rajya Sabha is favoring any particular ruling party, that is what the opposition felt. Here we are not telling whether did he or did he not. It is how the opposition felt. So, and also in this period there were a lot of frequent adjournments, walkouts, suspensions. All of this led to a question as to whether Rajya Sabha, is it a deliberative chamber, as in is it really a revisionary body or is it just a political battlefield? Understanding? The second aspect with respect to your chairman of this Rajya Sabha is he a neutral arbitrator if he comes from the ruling party? First and foremost, Vice President as a chairman in the position of Rajya Sabha must be politically neutral irrespective of his alliances, whether he was the former governor, a former position holder or a member of any political party. Once the person becomes a chairman, that is once the Vice President he is elected as, then his is a position of neutrality, especially political neutrality. Amidst this, the issue kept on being raised by opposition is that no, there is a concept of partisanship that we are observing when let's say if a vice president is from a ruling party. This is not a necessary, this is no such thing as to if a person is from a ruling party then he will be partisan, is not an established rule. This is what this opposition felt, especially in how they were handling the opposition's demands, and there was on selective suspensions. This is how they have tried to showcase. Another thing, if you see how a vice president can be removed. Here, why are we speaking about removal? Again, here also there is a ambit here. First thing is, as of now, up until now in the history of vice presidents, no vice president has been removed through any motions. They have resigned voluntarily, but no one has been removed through a resolution. What is the process for removal? First thing is, a Rajya Sabha, for which he is the chairman, has to agree with effective majority or the then majority. Lok Sabha has to agree upon that. Lok Sabha has to agree upon that, meaning simple majority. And a 14-day notice has to be given. Now, in 2024, opposition had brought in a motion against Dhankar, the vice president, the then vice president, but it had failed. Okay, it had failed to materialize. But this was the very first time that a resolution was brought about. It was not accepted, it failed, but even in introducing of that resolution itself was very first time in the history of vice presidents. Understanding? Now, look at this. If a probable question could be coming from this topic, what would that be? The vice president's role as a chairman of Rajya Sabha is more political than constitutional. Critically examine in context of recent events. See, you first understand the thing about the statement. They are not telling vice president is more political than constitutional. Just keeping certain controversies in mind. Understanding. So, you will have to first showcase his constitutional role, constitutional provision, and then showcase some of the political perspectives such as your judicial criticism, mass suspension, partition rulings, these kind of things. And you will also showcase what is the constitutional provisions, that is duty to maintain decorum, enforce the house rules and all. See, when we were discussing the previous topic about removal angle, first and foremost, the constitution has not mentioned the reason or the way of removal. They have mentioned what majority is needed, but they have not mentioned the grounds for removal. Understanding? So, keeping all that in mind, this was the very first time that such a motion was even passed. If you see the question, first and foremost, it is about the differences between neutrality versus political affinity. Understanding how the office of or how the constitutional post of a vice president has to be irrespective of personal ambit or personal relationship. So at the end you have to make sure that yes, reforms are needed to safeguard dignity, neutrality, federal essence of Rajya Sabha, right? So you will uphold the constitutional principles. Now, before we move ahead as to what was the history behind it, who and all were related and all those, we will have a small announcement from Legacy IAS Academy. If you are someone who is wanting to kickstart your UPSC civil service journey, then look no further. You have found the right spot with Legacy IAS Academy. Why is it the best? Because we maintain strictly the batch length of or the batch size of 40 members per batch so as to provide you individualized and personalized guidance. In Legacy IAS Academy, we also offer one-on-one mentorship, easy access to in-house faculties, and also we offer daily mains answer writing challenge, prelims mock test series, interview mock tests. At the same point of time, we also help you with CSAT, and also we have CSAT classes conducted holistically, and alongside we also have current affairs classes which are 360-degree approach. Legacy IAS Academy also offers its courses in both offline as well as online mode. For those of you who are working professionals or students, we also offer weekend classes. To see how the classes are, you can schedule a demo class either offline or online. For more information, check out the Legacy IAS Academy website or you can contact the number given below. Alright, now let's get back to the video. We will see the historical evolution of vice presidents. The first is your S. Radhakrishnan, who was the president for 2 terms, who run unopposed. There was no opposition at all. Now he was a great philosopher, statesman, initially the vice president and later went on to become the president. Then is your Zakir Hussain. He was an educationist and also the first Muslim president, and which went on for the firsts. Okay. Next is your V.V. Giri, who was vice president, and now he resigned to contest for presidential post. Then comes your Gopal Swarup Pathak, who was the first vice president who never went on to become the president. The previous ones did. Then is B.D. Jatti. He was Mysore Chief Minister who acted as the president after F.A. Ahmed's death. Then comes Justice Muhammad Hidayatullah. He was the only person to serve as the Chief Justice of India, acting president and the vice president. Then is R. Venkatraman, who was a freedom fighter who was involved in the freedom struggle and then went on to become the vice president. Then is Dr. Shankar Dayal Sharma. He was the governor, chief minister and later went on to become the president. So before that he was a vice president. Then is K.R. Narayanan, a first Dalit vice president and also an activist president. Another is your Kishan Kant. Next is your Byron Singh Shekhawat. One of the things about your vice president is, if we see the roles, what roles do they do apart from being the chair of Rajya Sabha? For a temporary period, that is for 6 months maximum, they can also assume the office of presidential role in case the presidential office is vacant. Understanding? So whenever I see went on to become president, acted as a president, so this is the aspect that I am mentioning. Next is Muhammad Hamid Ansari, and then is Venkaiah Naidu. Then is your latest Jagdeep Dhankar. He was the first one ever to face the removal motion. Now if you see how is the election of vice president in India, first and foremost, we will see the static constitutional part here, where according to Article 66, which speaks about election of vice president, the elaborate features are mentioned in your RPA Act of 1951, and the electoral college is the one that will elect for your vice president. The electoral college for vice president is separate from the electoral college of president, because the president is the head of state. The states are also involved. Understanding, there is elected members of state legislative assembly. But whereas because the vice president, he is largely confined to become the chairman of your Rajya Sabha, and for a temporary period, that is for by max 6 months, he will be acting as a president, in case the presidential office is vacant, they don't need very wide electoral, let's say with respect to the president electoral college, this is very less, meaning no state involvement is there for your vice presidential election. The electoral college comprise of both members of both your Lok Sabha as well as your Rajya Sabha. Understanding? This includes both elected as well as nominated members, and state does not play a role in the election of vice president. Who overlooks it? It is the election commission. How is the voting? It is through proportional representation, single transferable vote, and secret ballot. Secret ballot as in you cannot enforce whip. What are the qualifications for a person to become a vice president? First, he has to be a citizen of India, he has to be 35 plus years of age, he should be eligible to be a member of Rajya Sabha, and he must not hold any office of profit unless and until it is, let's say, the president, vice president. Understanding? And there is no limit on how many times a person can become the vice president of India. So, who conducts the election? It is the Election Commission of India who supervises. Any disputes, Supreme Court is the final deciding authority. So, the oath is taken, that is, the oath is administered by the President of India, and the oath is taken as per Article 69 is to affirm and uphold the Constitution. The term is for 5 years and they can be re-elected any number of times. Okay. With this, we have come to the end of the vice presidential topic. If you like our content, subscribe to our channel, hit the like button and share it along with your friends. Thank you.